Hey guys, this is Austin, and welcome to the Ultimate Xbox One X. Now this has been a very highly requested video, so much so in fact that we got an anonymous letter from Hong Kong giving us some suggestions to include for the video. So with some of those in mind, let's get to building. Nick Cage approves. Yes. So everyone's probably familiar with the wonderful look of the Xbox One X, aka it's just a black box, which is where this comes in. This is going to be a skin which is going to make our Xbox One X look a lot like an original Xbox, which some say it looks like an Xbox One. So in the picture, they've got like the front of it, like it's got like the Xbox logo and stuff, but this is just a top skin. Clearly it wouldn't happen if this was D-brand. It's actually pretty much lined up. I'm slightly off center. So you put it side by side with the original Xbox, it actually doesn't look so bad. I mean, no, I wasn't 100% precise, but I think it's close enough that I'll buy that. Next up, because we know just how useful cooling fans and extra attachments are for consoles, we have not only an intelligent cooling fan, but we also have a cooling dock with extra USB ports. Cool. So we've got 3 small cooling fans. It's going to plug in via USB, and to be fair, it does give us a USB pass-through. So I guess it just snaps on something like this. I mean, it actually does kind of blend in. Whether this is going to make any difference at all, I am incredibly doubtful of. But luckily, we have a whole other cooling dock to keep it even cooler for our whatever it is that we're doing on an Xbox, which is going to make it overheat. Connecting it actually is pretty easy. So we just do that. Wait a minute. So I see that there's a fan, but where is it pulling air from? There's no place for it to pull on the bottom, on the front, on the sides. Why are there 3 fans if they have no intake or exhaust? What this does give us is 3 more USB ports up front. One of the things we're going to have to keep in mind with this video though is that we have a lot of things that are going to be requiring USB, so making sure that we have full USB 3.0 on as many ports as possible is going to be a challenge. Because a mere 1 terabyte of storage space is not going to be anywhere near enough, the next step is yet another add-on hub thing. This is going to give us not only the ability to plug in a full 3.5-inch hard drive, we're also going to be getting even more USB ports. Oh joy. That's pretty cool. So it's actually got a Scorpio on the front, which would make sense because this is a Scorpio version of the console that now has a skin covering all of that up. So people still know we're cool. So the idea here, if it's anything like some of the previous hubs we used, is that we'll be able to not only plug in that 3.5-inch drive, but this is going to give us 3 more USB 3.0 ports on the front. Now with a 3.5-inch drive bay, we could go completely crazy and put basically any kind of desktop hard drive in here, but as opposed to doing a standard hard drive, instead we have a 2 terabyte Seagate FireCuda. And this is going to be an SSHD, which means that in addition to having 2 terabytes of capacity, there's also a little bit of flash storage on here, which, depending on the game, might not actually make a huge difference to load time, but at the very least, it should be a little bit quicker than a standard hard drive. One nice touch is that you have everything you need to do this. As long as you have a 3.5-inch hard drive, I do actually think this will work with a 2.5-inch as well, but you even have the screwdriver, you have everything you need to put on the sled, and with that, I think we can, well, just put it in here. So this entire thing is going to operate using the front USB 3.0 port on the Xbox. So as long as we're able to line that up, we're going to cover up the power button, but it has a little push button. Actually, it's clear too, so you can see when it's on and off. It's gonna be a little tight. I guess it will work though, huh? The only issue that I actually don't really like with this is that as opposed to having its own separate power cable, which I will admit is a little bit annoying, instead it's actually going to go on top of the current power cable. Considering how much power the Xbox One X pulls through just the figure 8 cable, seems a little sketchy. Also, our fan doesn't let this go in all the way. This is falling apart very quickly, but I guess that works, right? While 3 terabytes might be enough for a normal Xbox One X, this, my friends, is the ultimate Xbox One X, which is where this comes in. The Seagate game drive with an additional 8 terabytes of capacity. Unlike the rest of our accessories, this is really straightforward. So instead of attaching it directly to the Xbox, it just needs a USB cable, but it does give us an additional 2 USB 3.0 ports on the front of the Xbox. To think I was worried about not having enough ports like 5 minutes ago. So with just an external power brick and a single USB cable, we're now up to 11 terabytes of capacity, which is where this comes in, the Samsung T5 SSD. This is actually something we use on a daily basis here at the office. So all of our videos are edited off of these T5s, and one of the nice things is they come in really large capacities. This one is going to be a full 2 terabytes of quick SSD storage, all running off of a single USB cable. Almost said USB-C cable, but we gotta use USB-A for this one. I mean, do you need 13 terabytes on your Xbox One X? Probably not. Do you need to build the ultimate Xbox One X? Probably not. Are we done building the Xbox One X? Absolutely not. As far as controllers go, we have a couple of Xbox One Design Lab controllers. These are really cool because you have a lot of customization options for how the controllers look, and importantly, they're still going to be the same size, which is important because we have a dual charging station. I mean, it doesn't really look pretty with our Design Lab controllers, but now we have 2 controllers down and 2 more to go. If you really want the ultimate controller for the Xbox One X though, you want the Duke. So this is modeled almost identically after the original Xbox controller, and while it was a little bit controversial, some might say, it's well, you'll see. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This is licensed by Microsoft, even though it's made by Hyperkin. Wow, that looks almost identical to the original. For context, this is what a standard Xbox One controller looks like, and this is the Duke. I mean, it's massive. I think you're definitely going to be better at gaming on a standard Xbox controller, but the coolness of this is just, there's no way to get around it. Now, unfortunately, this is going to be a wired controller, but thankfully it's going to be a really long cable, and it is detachable with micro USB. As if all of these controller options weren't enough, we also have the Keymander. This is actually something I did a video on, oh man, it was like 2 or 3 years ago, but the idea here is that this is going to be an adapter that will turn a mouse and keyboard into what the Xbox thinks is a standard controller. So inside this little box, well, it gets a little bit complicated, but hopefully it won't be that bad. So around front we have a mouse, keyboard, and gamepad. I think you actually have to have all 3 plugged in because it pretends to be the gamepad, but it's actually passing through the mouse and the keyboard signal. And then around back we have another series of USB ports for power, PC, game, as well as data, which looks like a 1/8 inch jack. Oh man, this is a lot. Welcome, my friends, to the completed Ultimate Xbox One X. And yes, all of these cables and accessories are completely necessary. So to start with, we're going to be showing you what the Keymander will do. We're going to be spoofing it with the actual Xbox One controller, so you need to make sure this is still plugged in. But with that, your mouse, your keyboard, and everything attached via USB, we should be able to play a game. Hey, it works! I mean, it's really, really slow. Maybe we should have turned up the mouse sensitivity a little. Dude, this actually doesn't feel that different than playing on a PC. I mean, there might be a touch of latency if I try to move really quickly, but it's not bad. Now, there's definitely an argument to be said that this is going to give you an unfair advantage, but I mean, if you want to be more comfortable playing with your mouse and keyboard versus an Xbox controller, and you don't mind dealing with some finickiness, it is not the easiest thing to set up, and you do need to kind of keep it tuned per game to make sure it has the correct profiles, but you can download those pretty easily. No, why do you have weapons? Okay, well, this is unfortunate. This is very unfortunate. Wait, I'm actually gonna, no. Wait, that counts as a kill, right? I blew up on them. I'm gonna count that as a kill. Dave will be very proud. The Duke, on the other hand, well, it's definitely a much larger controller. Personally, I do think that the standard Xbox One controller is better, but I mean, better is kind of relative, right? The Duke is it's a unique option. It also doesn't feel that bad. So some of the buttons are a little bit weirdly laid out compared to the newer controller, especially stuff like the left and right bumpers, which feel kind of tacked on, but it works. Of course, we're not here just to play Fortnite. We have 13 terabytes of hard drives to install a whole bunch of other games if we want to as well. So right now, if you go into the options, we have the internal hard drive, and then we have our 2 terabyte Firecuda, which is in here. They all actually show up, and once you give them a quick format, I mean, it kind of works. Unlike a lot of the Building the Ultimate series that we do, this actually all works. All the accessories are plugged in, attached, skinned, powered, USB'd, whatever you want to call it. It's all actually working. Now, does it make sense? No, of course not. All right, there's nothing to it. Let's plug the adapter in. In 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, this is Austin, and this is the USB Killer. Now, it might not look like much, however, this will straight up kill your computer. So this is a device that's used to test hardware.